There are so many things to do in Tokyo, and if you are planning your first trip to Japan right now, you probably feel overwhelmed and you know that you need to narrow down your list of the things to do in Tokyo. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you the 7 top things to do in Tokyo that I would highly recommend for those of you who are planning your trip to Japan for the very first time. Hi friend, my name is Sarah and welcome back to my channel. I went to Japan last year and I did my research probably about a year on and off. I basically scoured every corner of the internet trying to learn and make sure that I know everything and anything that I need to know as someone who is going to Japan for the very first time. So make sure to subscribe to my channel and watch all of the videos I have on this channel about planning my first trip to Japan so you can save some time. The first thing that I would highly recommend for you is going to a Yakatabune dinner in Asakusa. I actually got the inspiration and the idea to do this from Paolo from Tokyo's videos. It's probably a very old video. I feel like if you are from the US and you are going to Japan for the first time, you probably watch a lot of his videos. But anyways, it's almost kind of like a kaiseki dinner that you would get if you stay at a ryokan in Japan, but it also combined with happy hour on a boat sailing through the Sumida River at night. It's actually a pretty interesting experience. I feel like if you have younger kids, I would not go just because what I noticed, there's a lot of people who are, I guess, drunk, maybe buzzed. Overall, they were just having a good time. It is $174 for 2 people for me and Ricky. We did get the classic menu, I believe, for the food, but then we have the unlimited drinks add-on. But if you don't want to drink, you can definitely pay less than that. If you don't have the time or the budget to do it, I would just add it to my wish list for your next trip to Japan. The second thing that I would highly recommend is to go inside a vintage arcade games alleyway inside the Odaiba shopping street. You probably will spend half a day in Odaiba because Team Labs is in there, as well as Small Worlds Museum, and there's also a couple other malls that might be interesting to you, especially if you are around my age. Maybe you are a little bit older, you grew up in the early 90s, maybe 80s, maybe even late 70s. You probably are familiar with some of these vintage arcade games and vintage characters that you probably grew up with. There are also a few of those old school snack and candy stores that they try to replicate inside this alleyway. So if you are into eating some snacks and candies that are old school that you probably have not seen around anymore, you can probably find it in this alleyway. Since you are already in Odaiba, make sure you take the Eureka Mome train line that passed through the Rainbow Bridge. If I remember correctly, there are 2 levels of the bridge. One is for people who are driving and the other level is for the train. You can take the train passing through the bridge over the water. You get to see Tokyo from a distance, or Odaiba depending on where you're coming from. That is probably one of the best train sites you can get in Tokyo. You'll see when you get on the train that there are kids and adults alike wanting to be in the front to enjoy the scenery of passing through Rainbow Bridge inside the train. Hi friends, Sarah's here and I'm so sorry to interrupt today's video, but I just want to come on here really quickly to announce that I have a new freebie that you can download today. I have been sharing a lot of my recommendations and tips on how to go about planning your very first trip to Japan, and I created a very simple 12-day Japan itinerary that was inspired from my own trip to Japan. If you want to go check it out, the link will be down in the description box below. And now let's get back to the video. The next thing that I feel like everybody is gonna highly recommend for you, and that is Shibuya Sky. I feel like everybody who is on Instagram probably have a picture of them at Shibuya Sky if they do go to Japan. This is probably one of the most popular observation deck in Tokyo. It is not free to go up there, and you want to make sure that you book your ticket in advance for the slot of time that you want to go on. I make the mistake of actually waiting to book the ticket. The tickets go on sale 2 weeks before the date that you want to go on. So if I want to go to Shibuya Sky on the 14th, the ticket will be available on the 1st. I probably waited a few days, and the time that I want to enter Shibuya Shibuya Sky, it was already sold out. I went pretty late, I want to say 7 or 8 p.m. To be honest with you, it was still a pretty magnificent view. It is really windy and really cold, so make sure you bring jacket and cardigan if you decided to go during nighttime. However, it is really dark and it's almost too dark to take a picture up there if the sun has already set. So the best time to go is about 2 hours before the sun is setting, and you can take pictures and videos of Shibuya Sky and the view from Shibuya Sky when there are still light outside. And once you enter Shibuya Sky, you can stay as long as you want, so you can stay for a couple hours up there and wait until the sunset. Next thing that I think you shouldn't forget is to actually getting drinks from the vending machines. And you probably heard about how there are more vending machines than people in Japan. I think that is the stat that I heard last time when I was doing my research. I don't know if that's true or not. All I know is there are a lot of vending machines everywhere. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment below. This is actually great, especially if you are someone who have to have water all the time with you. If you are traveling in Japan, you probably would have to walk a lot and you don't want to bring your big water bottle, your heavy stainless steel hydro flask water bottle, because it's heavy and it will get annoying if you have to carry that big thing the whole day in Japan. Having vending machines everywhere in Japan, it's pretty convenient and you can almost always find one in every corner. And I know you might think that you wanna make sure that you can recycle or you wanna be more eco-friendly when you are traveling. Don't worry, because Japan probably has one of the most, maybe complicated, maybe the best recycling system maybe in the world. Whatever plastic bottles that you will consume, they will make sure that they recycle it the right way. The next thing that I feel like people might enjoy, maybe they might not, but that is to get random gacha from Gachapon machines or from a Gachapon store. Just like the vending machines, you can probably find Gachapon machines almost everywhere in Japan as well. Even when we were strolling through a shopping street in Kobe, there's a few stores with Gachapon machines in front of them. So there's a lot of like kids and adults that would just get random stuff. Some people might think that Gachapon is something useless, but I think it's a great souvenir, a great and pretty affordable souvenir to bring back to your family and friends at home. There's just so many like random things you can find inside a Gachapon stores. If you go to the one in Sunshine City, it's one of the biggest stores. I think you probably will spend hours. I spent hours in there just going through the aisle and trying to see what kind of stuffs I can get from those Gachapon machines and think about who can I give this to. Before moving on to the next thing in the video, I just want to interrupt this video really quickly just to invite you to subscribe to my channel. I think 98% of you who are watching my video is not a subscriber, and I would love it for you to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any of my future videos about Japan, about cruising, travel hacking, and so much more. I hope to see you on the next one, and now let's get back to the video. Last but not least, and this is just the foodie in me that would always be hungry. Even right now, I'm kind of hungry. Anyways, make sure to get breakfast and snacks and maybe even dinner at Japanese convenience stores. Just like vending machines and Gachapon machines, there's also a lot of convenience stores throughout Japan. If you are hungry, if you are thirsty, and you want to find a store where you can buy food, snacks, drinks, convenience stores in Japan is probably one of the best places you can go. I went to Family Mart across from our hotel and I got like a bunch of food. I was definitely eating with my eyes because I got random stuff, but surprisingly we finished all of them anyway that night. They were all so good. You can also ask them to heat it up for you because most of the time it will be refrigerated, and that is just again really convenient to have the food heated up and ready to eat. If you enjoyed this video and you want to watch more videos about how I plan my trip to Japan, make sure to click on one of these videos so you can do more research for your trip.